Listen, talk to me more about ones that you're kind of interested to see to play out. Not necessarily like thrilled about it, but kind of curious.
I will say Santiago Munoz for
Mhm.
SKC. That was one that I think is good because of the situation he's coming into. So obviously Agata's out, so there was a hole in the striker position, an opening, an opportunity, and I think bringing in Munoz, I think, is a good move for that for SKC for the season that they're pretty much like looking like they're going to have this year. Munoz is someone that I think has struggled as of recent to kind of really find form and do well, but at one point in time was very sought after to the point where, he was 17 years old with like 6 goal contributions in Mexico, and it was enough to get the attention of Newcastle to come in and buy him. Obviously, there was good potential there for a team from the Premier League to come in and be like, hey, we like you, come play with us. Since that point, I don't think he's really been able to hit that potential that he once had, but I think it's a good situation to bring him in for SKC where they finally move on for Peter Vermees. Maybe that's a sign of them being more willing to try new things out. I think Munoz could be a good opportunity to try him out at striker. I don't think the expectation is that you're going to have a great season from SKC this year. So, you bring him in. If he does well, that's great. You got a good deal for him and you keep him and maybe even sell him on and make money. If he doesn't do well, I mean, I don't think the expectation was the team was going to do well anyway, and you just move on from him at the end of the season. So feels like a good opportunity for both people. I think there's a lot of question marks about how it will actually play out, but I think it's definitely a risk worth taking.
Yeah, listen, the one name you didn't bring up for the SKC is Dejan Joveljic is still there, right? So he's
Mhm.
leading the line in SKC. Is he doing it
Very
well? I
true.
don't, right? But the question is, and it was one of my ones to watch as well because how do you fit him in? You're right. He had buckets of potential, right? You had this idea where he was kind of stepping into a Newcastle system where he was going to be the next oh gosh, what's the name? It's called the movie. It's a movie called Goal, I think. My
We got sidetracked already.
my head coach is going to kill me because we watched this on the bus before to all of our away games. But it was funny because this is Munoz, Santiago Munoz, the star of Goal is a Mexican kid named Santiago Munez who got signed to Newcastle and went on this like crazy run. So I remember this now being like, oh my God, they're recreating the thing, right? But yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see how he gets put into that system because you just spent what $4 million on Joveljic to bring him over and make him your DP, and are you going to change your system? Like what's the plan here? You've got a little bit more flexibility now that Peter Vermees is gone, but what's the idea, right? That's kind of where I'm going with it. But for me, I'm really interested in Ibrahim Aliyu to Columbus. The way that he can play out wide or up top, and we know how Wilfred Nancy uses different players to fit his system. I'm kind of interested to see how this gets on. We've seen him have the flexibility to utilize players in positions that don't naturally make sense, right? So wing back players as outside center backs, right? Or central defenders up in center mid or things of that nature, right? So is this something where maybe he's seeing Aliyu as a wide player or an inside player? Like what how do you utilize him if it's not going to be up top? And if it is up top, what does that mean long term? Right? So it was clear in the Miami game the crew needed somebody to find the back of the net. I mean, they missed chance after chance after chance after chance against a very not good Miami defense. Is Aliyu the savior for this team to put away, 15 goals this season? I don't think so. But what I'm interested to see is that if he or Jason Russell Rowe perform well enough that they start thinking twice about going for a DP9 in the summer, because that's kind of always been the vibe, right? It's like, okay, we're going to wait for it. We've got all the Cucho money. We're going to see who we can get in the summer. Well, now, if you've got one of these two who are putting in 8 goals by midseason, is it something you think about like, oh, do we really need this or what? That's kind of what I'm going to keep an eye on there. I will caveat that by saying I don't think that's going to happen. I believe that they're going to go and get that DP9, but it'll be interesting to watch.
I feel like I should say they're giving Jason Russell Rowe a shot at the number 9 right now.
Mhm.
But at the same time, too, I don't necessarily think that was always the plan. I mean, the rumors were that they were going for Bernera at some point. So I feel like
Yep.
there was incentive for them to get a number 9. And I think it just didn't pan out in time for the window. And so they decided, all right, we're a good enough team that we're going to most likely be comfortably in the playoffs. we could wait and bring in a guy, do our research properly, bring in a guy in the summer to be that number nine, and then really make a run for it at the end of the season. Maybe we're still in the supporter shield hunt, maybe not, but at least you can make a run for the cup then. I don't really understand the Aliyu move, to be honest. I understand it, but I don't understand it. Like I know there's a need for striker, but he hasn't exactly proven in his time in MLS that he's the guy to put the ball in the back of the net. He's struggled to do it a lot with Houston, and and a good Houston team, by the way, too. Not like current Houston team, like you know, people who
The
could
team
actually
you put in
service the
third
ball.
place.
Yeah, not the team I put in third place. A team that had like Hector Herrera on it. Plenty of service to get him the ball, and
Hmm.
he just could not. He couldn't get in the spaces. He couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. I don't exactly know where Houston was playing him, but he had 33 starts last year and he generated 6.4 XG.
Hmm.
Like he scored 6 goals, so he was like pretty on par with the XG that he was creating, but it's like he clearly was not getting himself in dangerous positions. And like you're not going to score if you're not putting yourself in good positions. So I don't think he's the answer. I feel like they spent a good amount of GAM to bring him in for somebody who's just not doing well. I still think they go for the number. I agree with you. I think they go with the number nine still in the summer. I don't think Jason Russell Rowe is the answer right now, at least, and I don't think Aliyu will be either.
I love the fact that we're 6 years into this show and we've finally gotten Connor to focus on the woke nonsense that is XG. How many times you bring up XG today? It's all XG, baby.
I
Um,
only bring up the advanced metrics on this show.
No, and that's funny, right? We talked about it like we were talking about Aliyu being the breakout player last year, right? And that was our preview last year. Everybody said Aliyu, 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 and we all look back. We said, yeah, he did break out, right? We thought that he had a good year, and he broke out. 6 goals and 4 assists in 2,700 minutes across all comps. Actually, probably closer, really, to 3,000 minutes across all comps. That is
That's
not
not great
great.
return.
That's not great, right? So
Yeah.
is that what you're, what are you banking on? What is this going to mean? It'll be really interesting to see that for sure.